Thank you for listening to our daily Bible reading lesson. The lesson today is How are the mighty fallen? Several days ago in our reading, we read where David, as he lamented the death of Saul, in 2 Samuel 1 and verse 19, he said, "The beauty of Israel is slain upon high places. How are the mighty fallen?" The great King Saul, Jonathan, man whom David loved as a brother, was now dead. But you look and you find that as David speaks about that, you you see that there was likely a great deal of discouragement. As a matter of fact, whenever the children of God found that Saul had died, they fled from their cities. But you find that Saul's death should have really been thought that it would come. In our reading yesterday, we read in chapter 10 and verse 13, it says, "So Saul died for his transgression which he committed against the Lord, even against the word of the Lord, which he kept not, and also for asking counsel of one that had a familiar spirit to inquire of it." In other words, he did not go, as he says in verse 14, he didn't go to the Lord. He'd left the Lord. Well, that's going to bring death. And you look and you think, how horrible is that? That, God's plan is gone, it's destroyed. No. You find in Psalm 102 and verse 25 in our reading, he says, "Of old thou hast laid the foundation of the earth. The heavens are the work of thy hands. They shall perish, but thou shalt endure. Yea, all of them shall wax old like a garment, as a vesture shalt thou change them. They shall be changed. But thou art the same, and thy years have no end." In other words, God is the all-powerful. God is the one who has been, is, and always will be. And then he says, "The children of thy servants shall continue. Thy seed shall be established before thee." God's plan is going to go on. You see, mighty people fall just as Saul did then, and ultimately David would die. You find that so many times in life today, that there's sadness as people leave the Lord, as people give up on God, much like Saul did. Pride, lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, whatever it may be, people leave. And it's a tragic thing. But in old David looked and he saw, maybe he had a glimpse of hopefully what God would bring about ultimately in the church. But he spoke of Israel. We're spiritual Israel as the church. And in the book of Matthew, the 16th chapter, as the Lord spoke about the fact that he would build his church. He said, "I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it." You see, God's plan is going to go on. It's horrible whenever we see others, as David did, to see Saul and Jonathan die. We see people die spiritually today. And what a horrible thing that is. But we need to realize that God's promise is not hinged upon any one individual, that there are those who are the children of God's servants who will continue on. That's the one I want to be. That's the ones I want you to be. I want us to be the ones who not are lamented when they fall, but are causing rejoicing as God's plan goes on. I pray that you do that. Each one of us can as we become children of God. Acts 2, verse 37 through 47, Galatians 3, 26 and 27. And as we continue steadfastly in his word, we will be God's instrument to carry on his purpose. Thank you for listening, and you have a great day. Thank you again for joining us in this Bible study. We remind you, if you'd like to follow along in our daily Bible reading, the link below in the description of this video will give you the PDF so you can read right along with us. If you have any other questions or if you'd like information on a Bible study, contact us with the information provided on the screen before you.